Okay, thank you, Sunku. Thank you for this wonderful session. Okay, let me just switch on my video. Okay, good evening, guys. I'm Loveleen Kaur. Firstly, I will tell you about myself. I'm having a 4 years of experience in Android development, and currently I'm working as a software engineer in Astrotalk. I'm also a co-organizer of Google Developers Group Chandigarh and also actively participating in so many communities. So today I am here to discuss about the Jetpack Compose and to do some coding part in Jetpack Compose. But before starting the hands-on session, I just want to ask you guys one question, that how many guys about that what is Jetpack Compose, how we can use it in Android development, how we can make the UI designs with Jetpack Compose. So if you know anything about Compose, you just have to write your thing in comment box, or if anybody wants to share anything with me, so you just have to unmute yourself and you can share. So guys, I just need one small favor from you, that you just have to share with me that if you know about Compose or no, or if you are using Compose or not, then I'm going to do the coding part accordingly. Okay, so I have one answer that is from Rahul, that he knows some basics and he just learning Compose. Okay, Rahul, and rest of you guys. So I think so. You just you don't want to share. So I can see there are 22 participants in the meet. Okay, so Pulkit is saying that he need to learn complex UI. Okay, learning Compose, I know basics. Okay, so from these three to four answers, I just got that you guys are currently at the beginner level. So few of you guys are just started Compose, or you guys don't have a knowledge. Okay, so I'm also at beginner level. I also just started learning Compose few months back, so like 5 to 6 months back. So I will today I'm going to make one login screen with the help of Compose, and I'm going to do the hands-on session. And if you guys have any question in between the session, you just have to write that particular question in the comment box, or you can unmute self. Yeah, yeah, okay, Nitin, no issues. I'm going to start the Compose session just from very scratch level. If you guys are not from Android background, I will try to cover the session in that way that you can learn maximum of the things. And I'm going to start Compose from very scratch level. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so guys, if my screen is visible to you, just give me confirmation. Okay,
Yes, visible.
okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to start in Android Studio. So I'm going to start one fresh new project of empty compose activity. If you are already familiar with Android Studio, so you must know that there are some templates and there are few things that you can select at the project creation, that which type of project you want to create. So here you can see there are different types of templates. So basically when we go for the XML thing, I just select the basic activity with material 3 or simple basic activity, these things. But now we want to start the project with Compose, and we want to design the UI with the help of Compose. So I am going to pick empty Compose activity. Okay, so this activity is going to help me with the basic coding and the basic architecture level of Android, and it is going to reduce the workload for me because it is going to provide me all the basic necessities for Compose. So I am going to pick empty Compose activity. After that, I am going to click on next. Now you can see here there are few fields which I need to enter. So I am going to write here Compose Camp. So Compose Camp is going to be my project name, and after that you can see here there is the package name. So if you know Android development, you must know that package name is going to be a different for all the projects or for all the application that are going to be available on Google Play Store. So I am going to pick one package for me, that is com dot android dot compose camp. Okay, this package name is going to be different for every project. After that, you can see here, this is a save location where my project is going to be saved. And in this location you can find actually the project. Now after that, there is one section which is telling us that this is the language, and now you can see here there is one drop down, but this drop down is basically it is in disabled mode. Why it is in disabled mode? Because if you want to learn compose, if you want to do Android development with the help of compose, you must learn Kotlin, because you cannot implement compose with the help of Java. So if you are still doing Java, and if you are still if you are experienced Android developer and you just not started learning Kotlin, so it is a high time to switch from Java to Kotlin, because Google is going to give so many facilities that are going to be available only in Kotlin. So you must learn Kotlin. So Kotlin is like automatically selected for this project. And after that, there is a minimum SDK level, and I'm going to choose API level 23. So this app is roughly will be available on 96.2% of all the devices. So now I am going to click on finish button. So when I am clicking on finish button, you can see here that Gradle is building. So if you guys are new to Android development, I must say that you have to wait for the Gradle build, because you cannot change the code in the Gradle build configuration. And if you like going to do this, sometimes it is going to crash the application, it is going to crash your project. So you must wait until the whole Gradle project is going to be established. Okay, so currently I did not I did not did any extra thing. I just opened Android Studio. After that, what I did, I selected empty compose activity template, and after that I clicked on finish. Now you can see here I have some basic code for main activity here, right? So now quickly I am going to do one thing. I am going to run this application, and I just want to check what exactly the empty compose activity is giving me. So I am going to run this application. So let's just wait for the build. So okay, I'm going to ask you guys one question. If you are have a knowledge of Android, and if you know that sometimes build time is so high, so what you guys do while Gradle is building? Because sometime in my project, Gradle takes up to 4 to 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes for building purposes. You guys just have to mention in the comment box that what you guys do while Gradle is building. Okay. So meanwhile, I am going to check in the emulator. So it is basically connecting to the emulator. So let me run this application. So I guess there is something wrong with this emulator. So let me create new emulator for this. Okay, we are going to create fresh new device, and I'm going to choose Pixel 2 portrait mode and finish. Okay, so now my emulator is created, and I am just going to run this application. Okay, so Harsh is saying just look at Gradle building process in the build screen. Okay, Harsh, I guess it is going to make you bored at some extent. I am telling you my personal experience. If Gradle is taking more than 2 minutes, I just open my Instagram and I just scroll my reels on my device. And after that, Gradle build is also completed, and I'm just scrolling my reels. And after that, some like office call pop up, and then I switch back to the project. So if you guys have more answers, what you guys do while Gradle is building, you can give the answers in the comment box. Okay, So emulator is starting, and let's just wait for the installation for this project. Okay, so here you guys can see that this is an empty compose project, and you can see here there is one text, and it is basically saying hello Android. Okay, so this is basically in whole screen I can see only one component from the screen, that is basically a text, and this text is basically saying hello Android. So now I'm going to quickly explain you that how we can do code in compose. Okay, so you already know, in Android Studio project, we have a default activity that is we called as a main activity. Now there is one another activity that is component activity, and when I'm going to click on this component activity, so you can see here basically this main activity is basically extending the component activity. And like in XML projects we have app component activity, app compaked activity. There are so many types of activity in XML type of projects, but when you are going to create a project for compose, there must be component activity, and we have to extend this activity. Okay, let me do one thing, and this is going to be very easy for you guys. I'm going to convert my theme into light mode, and I'm going to increase the font size from 14 to 16. So I think so it is going to be more comfortable for you. Okay, so under main activity you can see here there is one function that is on create, and basically in on create we are passing one bundle, and you can see here that the bundle name is saved instance as, and we are we are calling the super method with the help of this bundle. And under this method, basically we are what exactly we are setting up, that is set content. In XML we have a set content view, and under that set content view basically we are passing the layout file, we are passing the XML file. But in compose exactly we are not going to do the same. Under compose we are going to do one thing, that is set content, and under this that set content basically we have this theme, that is compose camp theme. Okay, I just I renamed it as a compose, I guess, camp. Okay, I got the name, that is compose camp, and after that there is a theme. Now, if I'm going to click on this compose camp theme with the help of control button, you can see here that compose camp theme is going to support both type of modes, that is light mode and dark mode. If I'm going to do this same thing in the XML, I have to give the extra support to the project for supporting the dark theme and light theme. But if you are going to create your project with the help of Compose, then it is going to be like by default. So it means that it is basically simplifying the theme, and also it is going to make a very easy process for the Android developers to give the support to the dark mode and light mode. And you can see here there is a material theme, because if we have guidelines for the Google for designing purposes, so Google is saying us that use material themes instead of simple themes. So it is basically by default it is supporting material theme, also the dark mode and light mode. So this is basically the compose camp theme. And after that you can see here there is surface. So you can consider as a surface. For example, whenever we are creating any XML file, when we are creating any layout file, then we have a linear layout, we have relative layout, constraint layout. There are so many types of layout, and we just set up one parent layout for that particular XML file. But under compose, exactly I am going to use the surface, and surface is going to do the same thing. And under surface you can see here that we are passing one parameter, that is modifier.fill max size. So if you guys know Android development, then you must know that there is match parent in XML, and this modifier dot fill max size is going to be equivalent to the match parent. And after that we have a color, so it is going to be equivalent to the background, and we are basically setting up one color to this surface, and we are using this background color. And under this background color there is some predefined properties, And now we have set content. Under set content we have compose camp theme, and under this theme basically I am like using uh, one composable function, that is surface, and under this surface I am using greeting. Now what exactly this greeting is, when I'm going to click on this greeting, you can see here, this is basically a composable function. This is the art of composable function, that if you want to print anything with the help of compose, what exactly you need to do, you have to make one function, and when I am like defining this function, I have to give one annotation, that is at the rate composable. And if I am not going to give this at the rate composable, let us suppose if I'm going to delete it, then this is not a composable function. This is a very very ordinary simple Kotlin function, and it is not going to help you guys for the UI purposes. So this annotation is very very important, at the rate composable. I think so. Someone raised a hand. Okay, no. Okay, so this at the rate composable is very very important, and you can see here we are passing one string Android, and we are just printing that string in this text. So basically this code of block is going to help you for printing this hello Android. So it is very simple to just print one single text view in the compose. So if I talk about the XML, if I am going to do this same with the help of XML, first thing I need to do, I have to create one XML file. Under that XML file, I have to set up one like parent layout, that is relative linear or this type of a layout. After that, I have to take the text view, and after that text view I am going to set up all the things in that particular text view. So it is going to be a like more code, because we are creating one Java or Kotlin file for logic purposes, and we are creating one XML file for like UI purposes. But here you can see that you can do both things in a single file. You can declare your UI in the same Kotlin file, and you can also put some logics behind this text view in the same. So basically, if I talk about from the developer point of view, so Jetpack Compose is going to reduce a lot and lot of code, and it is going to be like make your code flexible, because if you want to make some changes in the future, it is going to help you a lot. Okay, so I guess I am clear with the basics of Compose. If you guys still have any question about this code for the main activity.kt code, you guys can ask. And if there will be no questions, if you guys are already clear with the basics of this file, I can go ahead with the login screen. So I'm waiting for like 10 to 15 seconds. If you guys have any question, just raise your hand, or you can put your question in the comment box. Okay, so like if it is already clear to you, I can okay, so Rahul is asking one question, that is surface like parent view group. Yeah, Rahul, uh yes, like in XML we take one parent layout. uh Suppose it can be any relative constraint or linear, that type of layout. So you can consider surface like the same view, it is similar. So Mukesh is asking, in compose only activities and call functions with name graph, or we can use fragments. So Mukesh, there is like no directly concept of fragments in compose. If you want to make some reusable components, if you want to make the code in that way that you can use it in multiple ways, then you have to write the composable functions for that. There is no such concepts of fragments in compose directly. But if you are going to mix match the project, some activities are from fragment, like some activities are from XML, and few there are fragments, and also there is a compose code, then it is going to be a mix match. Otherwise you have to write the composable function for the fragments for reusability. Okay, so guys, let's go ahead with the login screen design. So current like what I am exactly going to do, I am going to create one login screen, And under that login screen, what I am going to take, one field I am going to take for email, and the second one is for password, and after that there is going to be one submit button. And while clicking on that submit button, basically we are going to show some toast to the user, and we are going to implement this same with the help of compose. And guys, if you already know the same like the process of creating the login screen with the help of XML, then you must know that there is going to be approximately 70 to 80 line of code for this, like for just creating two text fields and one button. So let's check how we can implement this with the help of compose. Okay, I'm going to do one thing. So we have for vertical orientation in XMLs, we have linear layout, and basically what exactly we do, we just set the orientation of linear layout that is in vertical, and all the elements are going to be arranged in the vertical manner. But in compose, we have one column. Column is going to be the same for that is going to be a linear layout vertical, so you can just take the reference of linear layout vertical. And under this column, I'm going to take one again composable function, and that is going to be a text field. So this text field is equivalent to like edit text. So I'm going to write here for reference of you guys. So column is equivalent to linear layout vertical, and this text field is going to be equivalent to edit text. Okay, in compose we call it as a text field. Text field means that you can give some input. Okay, so now I am going to do, I am firstly going to set the initial value, that is empty string, and under on value change I am going to like give the empty curly braces. So if you just check this text field, you can see here that this text field is also composable function. It means that whatever exactly we are going to use the UI component in our activity, all those all those things are going to be a composable function. Either it is going to be a text field, text views, or buttons. All things are going to be a composable function. And under this under this text field, you can see there are number of properties. You can these are equivalent to, like, we have properties in the XML, and this is going to be the same, right? So you can see here that value is going to be of string type. And if I talk about this on value change, let's check what is this. So basically on value change, you can see here this is basically a higher order function. So we have to return some unit type of data. So basically what exactly I did, I just put the empty braces here. Okay, so if we have to give some hint to this text field, what exactly I'm going to do, in XML we have one property that is hint. So I am going to write here hint. And in compose we have a property that is placeholder. Let's change the font for this. Okay, so for we use hint property in the XML, but we are going to use a placeholder property in compose. So I am going to use one property that is basically a placeholder. And if let us check what exactly placeholder is. You can see here placeholder is also a higher order function. So under placeholder I'm going to write enter email. Okay, so you can see here there is one error in text field. So it means that if I want to give some text to the placeholder, what exactly I need to do, because it is higher order function, it means that whatever I'm going to write, I must write those things in the curly braces. And I am going to use here one text, and under that text I am going to use the text property, and under that text property I am going to give the hint that is enter email. So it means this text is equivalent to, we have text views in XML, but in compose we have text, right? This one. So I'm writing these things which already we are using in XML, and these things are like that are available in Compose. Okay, so let's quickly check the output of this code, what exactly this code is doing. That is text field, value is empty, on value changes like empty. So you can see here there is one input field. We have an input field for enter email, and basically this is the input field from the material theme. And I just place one placeholder, and under that placeholder I am just writing one thing, that is enter email. So this is for enter email. Cool. Okay, so now quickly I am going to do one more field for the password purposes. So I am going to use text field, value is going to be empty. Under on value change, uh, I'm going to use the empty curly braces, and under placeholder, what exactly I'm going to write text, and I'm going to write enter password, right? Let's quickly check the output of this code. Now we have one field for enter email, and we have again one field for enter password. You can see here that is enter email and enter password. But one thing you noticed that these two fields are like attached with each other. So I just have to give some margin to the enter password. In Compose, how exactly we can give the margin? We have to use a spacer property. Under spacer property, I have one parameter, that is modifier, and I am going to use modifier dot height. I am going to give 30 dp. When I write 30.dp, you can see there is some error in dp. To resolve all type of errors in Android Studio, you just have to like use one shortcut. You can see here Alt plus Enter. I'm just clicking on Alt plus Enter, and this error is resolved. Now quickly check the output. Okay, so you can see here there is one field that is enter email, and there is one field that is enter password, and there is some margin between enter email and enter password, right? So now we have to do one more thing. What we need to do, we have to use one button, and while clicking on this button, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to show some toast. So again, I'm using spacer. Sorry guys for inconvenience, I just have a bad cough from last 3 to 4 days, so my voice is like also changed. So I'm going to use button, and you can see here while writing the button, it is giving us some suggestion that you can implement the on click. Okay, and we are going to print one toast under the click on this button. So I'm going to use toast, and under toast I have to pass the first parameter as a context. I'm going to write here context, then toast dot length short, then okay, here I have to, like, for example, I want to give login successfully. Okay, so under that toast dot length short, then again show. Now you can see here there is like error in context, because I'm using here variable context, so I must initialize this variable. So how exactly I'm going to initialize this? Well, context. So there are two types of method declaration in Kotlin. Firstly, we can use var, and second one we can use val. So any value which is going to be changed with respect to time, like at any point of time, I am going to use var for that. And if that value is not going to be changed in the whole life cycle of that particular variable, then I am going to use the val. Okay, so let us I am going to take context as a val because it is not going to be changed, and I'm going to use a local context dot current. So this local context dot current is going to provide me the context, and I'm going to use this context in toast. So let's quickly check if something is happening with this code, with this button code or not. So I'm going to build a project. um yeah, so there is email, there is password, but you can see here there is a button but there is no text on the button because we did not give any property to the button for any text. So here in button I'm going to give one property, that is I'm going to use here composable function text, and here I'm going to give this button submit as a string. So again, run the application. Yeah, no, it is perfectly fine. There is one field that is enter email. There is again next field that is enter password. Now there is one button which is telling us that this button is for submit purposes. But you can see here this UI is not looking good because it is at 00 coordinates of this screen. If I want to make this design in the center of the screen, I just have to do one thing. uh, okay, so can anybody tell me from the audience, like if this same design is in the XML with linear layout, which property can make this design in the center of the screen? Let us suppose if this design was in the XML. I just need answer from you guys. Let us suppose if you have one linear layout and you are making this design in the linear layout, and if you want to make that design in the center of the screen, how you guys can do it? Okay, so here is one answer from Rahul. In parent linear use gravity center, from Yogesh layout gravity, Harsh gravity. Yeah, so just perfect answers. We use gravity for that purposes. We use center as a value in that gravity property, and basically that layout is going to be in the center of the screen. In compose, what exactly we can use? Under column we have two properties. The one is vertical and the second one is horizontal. So in column you can see here there is one vertical arrangement. Under column you have vertical arrangement, and this vertical arrangement I'm going to make this arrangement dot center. So you can see here I make this property as a arrangement dot center, and for horizontally purposes we have horizontal alignment, and I'm going to give alignment dot center horizontally. Okay, you just have to remember one thing. If we are using column, then we have a vertical arrangement, and if we are using row, then we have a vertical alignment. This is vice versa in the case of column and in the case of row. So you must remember this. So let's quickly check the output of this. Yeah, Rahul, you were right. In compose we are going to use vertical arrangement and horizontal alignment. You were right. So you can see here now this design is in the center of the screen, and there is one field for enter email, and for one field is there for enter password. Okay, so let's also check the click of this button if that is working or not for this particular toast. If I'm going to click on this submit button, you can see the toast here, login successfully. Okay, now I'm going to try to input some email to this edit text. So you can see, okay, this is not working again, because if I want to try any value in this particular edit text in compose, it is not going to like execute by default. We have to manage the state for this, because in XML it is, yeah, easy. We just define the edit text, and after that when we are going to execute that particular code, we have one edit text and we can type the email in that section. But in compose we have to explicitly define that yes, this value is going to be changed at a particular point of time. For this you have to manage the states in compose. So yeah, this is going to be the extra efforts for Android developer to manage all the states for the text fields. So I am going to take one variable for email and one for variable, one for password, one variable, and for email I am going to use one keyword, that is remember. You can see here there are so many type of like remember functions, but For particular this email field, which exactly I am going to use, I am going to use this remember, and under this remember I am going to use uh, mutable state of. Okay, and for which state we want to manage, we want to manage the state of this particular text field. So I am going to write here text field value. Okay, so you can see here there is some error in remember. I'm just going to press alt plus enter, and it is going to import the packages for that particular remember keyword. And now you can see that this email variable is now going to manage the state of this text field value. So if you want to manage the states of any particular composable function, you just have to use this remember function, and we are going to manage the state. That's why we are going to use mutable state of, and this value is going to be changed at a particular point of time. That's why we are using the mutable keyword. Again, I am also going to manage the state for password. Okay, let's try one thing. Instead of val, I am going to take this variable as a var. I'm not going to take this variable as a val. And for val password, remember mutable state of, and I'm going to manage the state for text field value. Okay, so like I write the write the code for this. Let's quickly do one thing. I'm going to use this email property in this block. So how exactly I can use this? I just passed one empty string as a value. Now I'm going to replace it, and I'm going to do this email dot value. Okay, and under on value change, what I'm going to do, I'm going to assign value whatever we are going to write in the email edit text. Email dot value equal to it. Okay, and same we are going to change with the password block. Here I'm going to use password dot value, and under on value change we are going to use password dot value equal to. So okay, just did one thing. For email I used val, for password I used var. Now you can see the color of this var is changed. Let's check why this color is changed. So Android Studio is basically suggesting you, please change this to val. Why? Because this particular variable is not going to be changed at a like some point of a time. That's why it is suggesting us that please use val. So let's check the output for this. Okay, let's check if now it is typing or not. Yeah, it is perfectly working fine. So I am entering one email, that is loveleen@gmail.com, and password I am writing 1234567 8. Okay, so again there is one problem in this UI. So can anybody tell me what exactly the problem in this UI? If somebody want to speak, just unmute yourself, and if you want to write, just write in the comment box. But I will be very happy to hear your voice. If anybody wants to, like, voluntarily wants to tell me what exactly the problem in this UI. Okay, so Harsh is saying password is visible. Okay, any more any more comments from anybody? What exactly the problem in this UI? I got one answer. I just want one, two more answers. So Yogesh is saying labels. Okay, just need one more answer. Validation. Yeah. So Yogesh is in the like perfect Android developer mode. Nitin input type. Yeah, there are so many issues in this screen. If we are going to push this particular login screen into the production, it is going to be crashed because there are so many issues. But for a particular point of time, the main issue is this. Yeah, Harsh like said right, the password is visible. So we are not going to make this to the user. that password must be in like some encrypted form, or like in some symbol form to the user. We cannot show exactly password to the user. So it's mean that we want to change some visuals to the user. So for changing the visuals, we have one property. So I am going to tell that property. Basically it is visual. Okay, let me check. Under this property there is value, on value change. Yeah, this is the property, visual transformation. So like in XML we used input type. Yeah, Yogesh, you also said right, there is a issue in input type. In XML basically we used input type, but in Compose basically what exactly we use visual transformation if we want to change the visuals of that particular block. So I am going to change the visual transformation for this. And visual transformation is going to be a something related to password visual transformation. I'm going to like uh, use the first one, this password visual transformation. Hmm, okay, so let's check if this code is working or not. So I'm going to write here loveleen@gmail.com, the password I'm going to use. So now can you see my password or not? Obviously not, because I set one property that is visual transformation, and I under that visual transformation I gave one value that is password visual transformation. And now you can see, you cannot see the password. And while clicking on submit button, there is login button. Yeah, and so whatever we did the code for this particular login screen, that is perfectly working fine. Yeah, there are so many issues with this screen, like I think so Yogesh said, yeah, there is the issue of labels, there is the issue of validation, there are some issues. We have to like place one beautiful image that is going to tell me yes, that is the login screen. So we can beautify this screen in so many ways, but like my sole purpose in was for this session was to tell you about that how you can open the fresh new Jetpack Compose project, and how you can use the basic building blocks for the UI. And yes, that this is a very declarative UI, so you can make the separate components for the composable function, and you can just reuse it again and again for the screens. You just have to define your things in a single file, and you can use it in a multiple ways that you can do by yourself. Okay, so uh, with this I can like wind up my session. So, guys, that is going to be a like post-session homework for you. If you want to implement any type of validation, any type of beautiful, like any type of that type of a modify, which is going to be helpful to make your screen as a beautiful screen, those things you can do. So, like now, I can wind up my session, and hope so you guys enjoyed it. And I just have one request to you guys, me, Aldo, and Sonku. We just gave the three sub sessions in the main session, that is related to Kotlin fundamentals, and the second one was building the app UI, and third one was the hands-on session for states, for managing the states and UI components. So now, if you guys have any question related to these three topics, you guys can ask. We three are open for question and answers, and if we know the answer, yes, definitely we are going to tell you. And if we don't know the answer, we are going to tell you that yes, we have to also do the R&D for this. Okay, so yes, now you guys can ask.